I think it was earlier this week, we were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. When they won the Super Bowl, we had the call from the play-by-play announcer. We had, it's Mitch Holthus is his name, and I've mentioned a couple of times that he was my camp leader when I was at sports broadcasting camp in 1995.
Yeah. Did you were you like the little Mitches?
Yeah,
we were Mitch's bitches.
We were,
is that what they called you?
We were Mitch's bitches, and there were the way it worked was there were 4 or 5 counselors there who took 5 or 6 each of under their wing.
Did you make little like a log cabin out of popsicle sticks?
Yes. And we had uniforms, and our pants were called Mitch's Bitches. And,
did you do archery?
We did that. All of those things. We went to a Jacksonville Hooters game and called that was
Jacksonville Hooters.
That was basketball. And so we called that. We had our little tape recorders, and we just did play-by-play and spread out all over the arena and did our own play, and then had them reviewed.
Did the players look at you quizzically?
They did. They were like, "Why are all these people
There's
here?"
13 people in the corner talking into their hands.
That's what we did. And we did that. We had to do several things. It was about sports broadcasting.
And what did this run you?
Golly. I was in college.
And this was you assumed this would be an entree into the world of sports broadcasting, which was your dream and still remains.
Yes. I want to be a sportscaster, a play-by-play man. And I was going to, as everyone else did there as well. And we all wanted to leap in the world of sports broadcasting. And they were from all over. There were people from colleges everywhere. And I was 22, and that was about the average age of the people there, 21, 22 years old. A couple were a little older, like in their 30s, like trying to one last chance at it, And I thought, God, they're so old, they're at age 30. So we had to do, in the first day in the classroom, we were given like a set of like a baseball game, and here's what's happening. The Dodgers are playing the Braves, and here's the standings, and it's late in the season, and you have to come up and do what was called a 1-minute stand-up, and you had to time it out for a minute and say what was going on.
Like this would be at the beginning of a game before the action starts?
Exactly. And like you wanted to...
The Dodgers come in on a 3-game winning streak, something like that.
That's exactly right. And the Dodgers had lost 5 in a row, and I said they were down and out in Beverly Hills.
I did that. That meant something.
I did that.
At one time, that meant something.
They all were like, whoa.
How did he do that?
I did it.
That's
I said
amazing.
the Braves are on a hot streak or whatever. And I said the Dodgers, meanwhile, are down and out in Beverly Hills, losers of 7 of the last 8. And I was like, oh, boy, here it comes,
Yeah.
So immediately, Mitch Holthus came over.
Is that the big time calling?
Yeah, I thought so. Holthus came over and said, you got something with that Dodgers line. I was like, well, So,
You'll make a good writer one day.
so we did that. And then we had to do a piece on making, we had to go out into the field and do something. So my group, the Holthus crew, Mitch's Bitches, we went to a surfboard shop, and the boards were made for a lot of surfers, like athletes in that area. In Florida, we did it at Daytona Beach Community College. So I went and did like a news piece on that, and Mitch said, mine was the best. And
Doggone it, Mitch.
Mitch told me at the end of the week, he's like, we don't do camper of the week, but for my money,
There's one special guy out here.
For my money, you're camper of the week.
He did Down and Out in Beverly Hills and a Hang Ten reference at that surfboard shop.
Yes. We went to a Kissimmee Astros game, the Kissimmee, Florida Astros, and we stood or sat in the stands with our tape recorders up to our mouths and called 3 innings of that game play-by-play. And they did the same thing at Jacksonville Hooters game, which is basketball.
If you notice, some of our fans here aren't doing the wave. That's because they're talking into their hands. They're not part of a Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's just more of a...
But they're special.
We've got a real special group of folks here today.
Yeah, we did all of that stuff. And then the coup de grace at the end, we got to sit on a set that was like SportsCenter with another camper, and they rolled in highlights, and we got to call it like it was on ESPN. God. I mean, my nipples get hard just thinking about it.
Did you peak
now.
then?
Yeah, that was my pick.
Is your athletic peak?
That was it.
Athletic broadcasting peak.
I thought the offers would come rolling in from ESPN and Fox Sports, and immediately.
And out of all the attendees, who went furthest? Not the counselors or the leaders. Out of the
You're looking at him, Dave.
I think it's. I've never heard of anybody else. One guy there, bless his heart, he was a really nice guy, and he was really good looking, but he was terrible. I mean, he could never get it. And at the end, he stood up and he said, "I'm going to do this for a living one day. I promise you. I swear to you, I'm going to do this for a living." And I never heard of him. I knew. I was like, no, I don't.
Kelly did minor league baseball, college basketball.
I've done a few of those things.
Yeah, they send the people like him to San Diego because they do that with weather people too.
Oh, the good-looking ones.
The good-looking.
Right.
I mean, they're blonde, they're trim, they're great, they
Yep.
look good, and they don't have to do anything there. It's
That's
sunny
right.
and 70.
That's right. Well, the whole reason I bring it up is there's a guy named Kansas City Steve, Casey Steve, who listens to this program, even though he's in Kansas City. And he'll talk about the Chiefs sometimes, and of course they just won the Super Bowl. So when I told that story, he emailed Chris Demm and me. He said, I actually sometimes sit with Mitch Holthus at different events. I've met him many times.
How crazy is that?
And so he emailed and said, I'm going to be at a charity event with him, and I'm sitting at his table. I can actually mention this Daytona Beach Community College
The camp back in the day.
timeline from 30 years ago. And I said, oh, please tell him I said thank you and all this. Because Mitch Holthus is the play-by-play man for the Chiefs and has now called them winning 3 Super Bowls. Is that right? 3? And numerous AFC Championship games. Now I hear him all over like NFL Network. You hear that call.
That'll get you on NFL Films.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's on there. So KC Steve wrote us and said, I was able to chat with Mitch Holthus yesterday. He was fascinated that I listened to one of the campers from his 1995 team, Mitch's Bitches. And he said to me, did he go on to do an influential sports talk show? And I nearly choked on my steak.
Just a minute.
And I said, no, he did not. He said, let me show you what they're doing now. So I pulled up a few of your pieces on YouTube.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And unfortunately, the first one we watched was a caller who said that when he was at a strip club, a girl banged his head into her pubic region and glitter scratched his face all over.
Oh, I remember that.
Great call.
Yeah.
We called it the call of the day.
That's right. His wife went all white-faced and had to excuse herself from the table.
Yeah. Good
Sorry, Miss
stuff.
Holthus.
Mostly she couldn't get over the fact that Mitch had actually gone to Daytona Beach Community College.
Everyone's shocked.
That's right. That's where it took place. KCC Steve says, I was stunned at how into the conversation Mitch Holthus was, and he watched a few clips of you and said, wow, I can't believe he's actually broadcasting. We are. He remembered me from all those years ago. Man, that's something.
That's an honor.
It was.
Yes.
It was an honor. I'd love to, email him or something. And that was really cool to hear that he's been put in contact because he's such a, he's well known, Mitch Holthus now. He really is. The other guys there, I remember.
Is that the naked experience in the room? Or was that a different camp?
That was it. That was naked experience. One guy, like
Just walking around naked?
He loved walking around naked. And it was like, all right, come on, enough already, And he'd just walk out into the common area naked. It's like, okay, you don't need to be doing this. You're just showing off. The other guy, the Florida Gators play-by-play man, Mick Hubert, was there. And he was a big guy. And he just retired recently. He called like some Florida national championship games. And then the third guy was a legendary local sports guy from Knoxville, Tennessee, and did play-by-play for the Tennessee Volunteers. I can't remember his name, but he was a big time. Remember, the only drawback was the special guest
that didn't show.
Dan Patrick. He didn't show up. And that's when I demanded my money back, and that was not good. That went poorly, and Mitch had to take me aside and say, look, just because you're bitches doesn't mean...
Did he make you write letters from camp home?
Yeah, he said,
Dear mother, Dan Patrick did not show again today.
Dear father.
I fear he has taken the appearance fee and absconded.
I think he may not actually show.
My fears were well-founded. He did not show at the end of that event.
Well, that's just unprofessional.
Unfortunately, I know. That is unprofessional.